What's going on, traders? We got a lot to talk about, but before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So today was an amazing day for the bulls. I made profit. The Discord made profit. I hope you made profit, but if you didn't, there's always going to be other opportunities. But let's talk about it. Let's really get into something that's really bothering me. Okay, something that's bothering me. And by all means, things look great right now, so we're going to get into the good stuff, and then we're going to get into what's really bothering me. So the good stuff is I think we're going to see more upside. Well, I guess that's only good if you're bullish, right? But for the bulls, the good news is I do think we're going to see more upside. In my last video, I did say I don't think unemployment claims is going to come in bad. I didn't think CPI was going to come in bad. PPI pretty much gave the cheat codes to everything else that was going to happen this week. And so today pretty much proved that we got good unemployment claims and the market went absolutely crazy. That's great. I also told you guys that I do think the NASDAQ, if we continue to go to the upside and break back into this channel, then we're going to look at a move towards 19,500. And my next target from here is 19,800. Now, it's important that we stick to our rule. And if you've been on this channel for a while, you know one of our rules is if we roll back into a channel, chances are we're going to continue in that direction. Or if we roll back into a pattern, okay, a bear flag, bull flag, rising wedge, falling wedge, if we roll back into a pattern, there is a high chance that we're going to continue in that direction. And so far, every time I've shown you guys us rolling back into a channel or a pattern, we've continued in that direction. Right here, we're looking at the NASDAQ daily time frame. This is a great example. We broke out of this channel and then we rolled back in, and that's when we got that gap down on the triple Qs and the SPY, and then we did the same thing on those, and bulls got trapped up here. We rolled back in, we broke down completely. Now we are doing the same thing, but in reverse. Now, I'm going to be honest, like I said before, I've never seen a roll back to back type of move into a channel. So this is a new one for me. And I have 12 years trading experience. So very new to me. But we have to stick to our rule that I always tell you guys. And right now we're rolling back into this channel. So there's a good chance we're going to continue to head higher. And my next target is 19,800. Now, we zoom out. Just for those who are new to this channel, because I know the OGs are like, oh my gosh, he's going to say it again. In case you think I'm making this up, we've bounced here, we we attempted to bounce here, and then we pretty much broke down, and then we broke back into the channel. We rejected up here multiple times, all in this area. We rejected here, we rejected up here, we broke out, bulls got trapped, we broke down. So this channel we've been trading in for about a good year, okay, about a good year and more or less, okay. And that shows you just how important us trading in this channel and just how powerful this channel is. But right now, we're breaking back into it on the NASDAQ. And so right now, if you guys can see this, these little rectangles with lines, I had to turn this indicator on, is fair value gaps. And the reason why I turned this indicator on is because usually I don't really depend on fair value gas, but it's pretty easy to see them if you have, been trading for a long time. But I really want to get an idea on what the market is trying to do because again, something is bothering me, right? And so now I'm seeing everything clearly where we're trying to get rid of these or mitigate these fair value gaps to the upside. And you're going to see them as we get further into the video. You're going to see them everywhere to the upside, okay? And right now, I think that's what the market is trying to do. The last fair value gap to the upside on the daily time frame is about 20,300, 20,500 range. So we can be looking at a move all the way up to 20,000 on the NQ. And then after that, there is potential because there's also a order block or a liquidity zone up here. And when I say liquidity zone, I'm now saying supply and demand zones. Okay, I think liquidity zones just sounds much better. Okay, so there's a supply and demand zone or a liquidity zone up here around this 20K range. And I think that's where we're potentially heading. Now, heading into tomorrow, I told you guys bears are very strong here. So unless this inflation data just gaps us up or breaks us higher, and we'll talk about the inflation data in a minute, we either reject here and potentially, and I said this in the last video, we start forming some type of inverse head and shoulders pattern, and we continue to break higher. All right. And in case you don't see it right now, we have a shoulder here, we have a head here, and then if we're bullish and we're lucky, then we have a potential another head here that can form. And it hasn't formed yet. It may not form at all. We may just continue higher, whatever the case may be. But this is a pattern to look out for, especially if we stay within this channel. So we want this inverse head and shoulders or potential inverse head and shoulders to start forming within this channel, and then we could potentially head higher towards that 20K range, maybe even higher. Okay, let's talk about the ES. So the ES is pretty much the same thing across the. It's pretty much the same thing across the board, guys. Okay, so we're gonna try to speed run through this. So again, you're new to the channel. We've been trading in this channel for a very long time. We're on a daily time frame. Bounced here, bounced here, bounced here. We rejected all in this area up here, thus forming this channel for a very long time. And once again, we're broken. We've not only broken trend, but we're breaking back. We broke back into this channel here on a daily time frame. We not only broke back into this channel, but we're above the daily supply and demand zone. Okay, so there is potential to go higher. And again, if we roll back into a channel or a pattern, chances are you're going to continue in this direction. So there is a good chance that the ES is going to continue in this direction. My first target is obviously 5,600, and then after 5,600, we can start heading as high as 5,800, which will be all-time highs, okay? Which will be about 580, 600 on the SPY, okay? So something to look out for. As far as downside, we can't really talk about downside right now until we start breaking back below 5,500. Me personally, I would like to see a break back below 5,440 on the ES before we start really talking about downside. So right now, things are looking very, very bullish. And why I say 5,800 on the ES is because it's pretty much at the top of this channel. It's a little more or less, but regardless, it's at the top of this channel if we extend it. Okay, so something else to pay attention to. The triple Qs. Let's look at the triple Qs. Triple Qs, essentially the same thing you're looking at across the board, right? We gap back into this channel, and as you guys can see, there's a fair value gap all the way at 490 that has yet to be mitigated. So again, I turned this on because I'm like, the market is trying to do something here. We're leaving a lot of gaps to the downside. That's something I want you to keep that in mind. We're leaving a lot of gaps to the downside, but we're going to focus on the good stuff. But there's a fair value gap all the way to 490, between 490 and 492 on the triple Qs. And ironic enough, there's an actual gap here at around 493, 494 range. So I think if we're going to continue higher to the upside, triple Qs most likely is going to head there. And as you guys can see, just like I showed you on the NQ and ES, we've been trading within this channel for quite some time now. Again, we're looking at the daily time frame. We rejected here, we rejected all in this area here. We tried to break higher, bulls got trapped. We broke lower. We tried again. And this is when I said that if we roll back in, then chances are the top is in for the short term. Or I didn't say the short term, but I did say the top was in. And that's exactly what happened. We gapped down, we broke down, we broke down. And that pretty much proves our rule that when we roll back into a pattern or a channel, chances are we're going to continue in that direction. Okay, so something to think about. Now, or something to keep in mind. Now, the next gap fill we're looking at is right here at around 480, which I told you guys in I think the last two videos that if we stay above 460 on the triple Qs, then there's a good chance we're going to head to 480. So congratulations if you followed that, especially since we stayed within this channel and we rolled back into this channel. So again, there's a fair value gap all the way at 490. If we get past 480, if we actually get past this 480, I would say 482, 483, then chances are we're heading towards this fair value gap on the triple Qs. Okay, so again, things are looking great. Let's talk about the SPY. SPY, pretty much essentially the same thing. I told you guys we break back into this channel, then I might start switching my sentiments. The next move I want to see is a break above 556. But right now, my target for the SPY, crazy enough, if we break above 556, the SPY can start heading towards 565. That would be my next target. But right now we're looking at a move towards this gap fill at around 562, 563 if we just so happen to break above 556. So we don't necessarily have any fair value gaps to the upside as far as the SPY, but we do have one on the ES, and the SPY is essentially the ES, so chances are it's just going to follow what the ES does. But again, as you guys can see, we broke back into this channel, we're breaking back above trend, we're pretty much in a very, very nice area. Now, here's the thing that's bothering me. Okay, here's the thing that's bothering me. And hopefully this makes sense, guys. Hopefully this makes sense. We're moving very fast. Very, very fast. I want you guys to keep in mind that next week we have Jackson Hole event, which the market is going to treat like well, it's going to treat it like a FOMC meeting, I'm going to assume. They're going to be looking for information from Jerome Powell in regards to rate cuts. So it's going to be treated like an FOMC meeting. Okay. And then after next week, we have, I believe, NVIDIA earnings. We're going to check that in a bit, but I believe NVIDIA earnings is like August 28th. And right now, we're getting close. Even on the SPY, we're getting close to previous highs. Previous highs is not far from here at this point, guys. Okay, it's not. Okay, we're getting really close to previous highs. So imagine if we hit all-time highs before we get either of those events. Just think about that. And I told you guys, 580 is one of my targets as far as highs go, and 600. But imagine we hit 580 prior to us getting, I would say, the Jackson Hole event or NVIDIA earnings. Scary. That's scary in my opinion. We look at the triple Qs. Same thing. We're not far from previous highs. We're not far from all-time highs. We hit the top of this channel. We're pretty much essentially mitigating this fair value gap, but we're filling this gap at 494. I believe highs were at around 503, 504, and I told you guys my price target as far as highs go is 510. If we do all of that within the month of August, guys, September, I imagine it's going to be really bad. Okay. And historically, September and October are pretty bearish. So it makes sense. And ironically, Nvidia earnings is towards the end of the month. So let's do the math here. Let's really do the math. Last week on the triple Q, somebody pointed this out to me on Discord, and I didn't really think about it. Last week on the triple Qs, guys, we was at the 420s. We went as low as about 423. This was last week. A week later, you're telling me we're at 474, 473, give or take, after hours. What is one of the golden rules we talk about on this channel? Staircase up, elevator down. This is an elevator up right here. Look closely, okay? This is an elevator up, guys. There's hardly any drawbacks. There's nothing, okay? There's no drawbacks from this. This is an elevator up. Another example, okay? Another example. This right here. This is an elevator down. Looks similar. I don't know. 1 plus 1 equals 2. And right now, the math is not mathing, people. I mean, this is an elevator down. There's nothing but bears here. Nothing but bears. You're constantly gapping down. This is the same scenario that we're looking at right here. We're seeing nothing but bullish candles over and over. And then you got like a little doji. Same thing up here. You get a little doji, whatever the case may be. But there's nothing but bulls in this area. We're repeating the same thing we see right here, guys. So again, I want you to think about it. 423 last week, the end of last week. A week later, we're at 474 on the triple Qs. We're taking the elevator up. Not normal. This is a staircase up. Okay, this is a staircase up. You're slowly creeping up. You know, you're slowly creeping up. Staircase up, staircase up. Then you got your little gaps here and there, but still, it's a clear staircase up, guys. Clear as day. And then right here, you drop, elevator down. It's a smooth drop. Okay, it's not stuttering or anything. It's a smooth drop. It's a stutter up, which is a staircase up, staircase up, staircase up, smooth elevator drop here. Look right here. Does this look like a staircase up? I don't know. Do the math. Okay. So what I'm saying is that the fact that we're moving this fast, and I've said this before, when the NASDAQ, I think it was like last week, when this drop happened, there was one day where the NASDAQ was going absolutely parabolic. Okay, absolutely parabolic. It was like moving 800 points, 1,000 points in one day. And then the next day, it gave all of that back. And I made a video prior to that flash crash we had. I said, this is not a good move. We might drop from here. Okay. I've said it. Okay. Feel free to go back. It was like August 7th, August 6th, one of those videos. Check it out. And so right now we're doing the same thing, but with a little more time. It's not happening all in a day, but with a little bit more time. Again, 423 last week. Now we're at 470 a week later. Before, now, if there wasn't like huge events ahead, then okay, fine. Okay. But we're doing all of this before NVIDIA earnings. We're doing all this before Jackson Hole event. We're doing all this prior to the next FOMC meeting, which is all the way in September. So the next question is, what are we pricing in? Are we really pricing in unemployment claims? Doubt it. We're pricing in the possibility of a rate cut. Okay. And so could this be, hear me out, could this be a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event? Because we're moving so fast, which tells me the market is trying to get this move out the way as quick as possible because something is coming. Right now we're fine. Okay, right now we're fine. But if we continue, if we start going past 480, if we start hitting 490s, if we start hitting previous highs prior to these events, I would be very, very careful, guys. Very, very careful because that is not normal. This isn't, look at the SPY. You're telling me this is a normal move going up. This is a normal move. That's what you're telling. Look back here. Staircase, staircase. You're stuttering up. You're not shooting up. You're not doing this. This is not normal, guys. You don't have to believe me. You can say I'm a perma bear, whatever you want to say. I prove you wrong all the time when I'm taking calls in our Discord. Okay, I make money either way. I try to make us money in either direction. I don't care what direction the market goes. I'm just here to provide value and help you guys out. And what I'm saying right now, hopefully I'm getting the point across. I'm not going to drag it any longer. We're moving too fast. Simple as that. We're moving too fast. This is an elevator up. Anytime the market has an elevator up, that that doesn't sit right with me. Look at this. Elevator down. Staircase up. Boom. Drop. Staircase up. Slight drop. Staircase up. Okay. So when you have huge candles back to back like this looks crazy. This is a clear elevator up, guys. Okay. All right. I'm just saying. So we have to pay attention to things like this. And the only issue with an elevator up, guys, is how fast it happens. If it's happening too fast, you need to be prepared for it. So that's all I got. Okay, that's all. I'm done ranting. I'm sure you got it. Okay, so let's move on. Let's get into some stocks. Okay, let's enjoy the upside while it's here because I do think we're going to see more upside. Now, as in regards to tomorrow, we're going to get into that in a bit. But let's look at Apple. If I can click on Apple, here we go. Again, this looks crazy. Okay, this looks crazy, guys. This looks absolutely insane. But regardless, there is a fair value gap all the way at the 430s on Apple. So it looks like Apple could potentially head towards there. Now, a great entry point, as long as Apple stays above not 220, then there's a chance that Apple is going to head towards that 230 area. Right now, if we do just so happen to get a drop tomorrow, because I do believe the market is going to want to cool off at some point, it can be towards close. It doesn't have to happen in the morning. But regardless, I think the market is going to want to cool off at some point. So if we do just so happen to get a dip tomorrow, I'm looking at a retest at around 220, 222. Okay, 220, 222. I think that's a great entry for a potential move all the way to 230. Highest I'm looking at potentially is about 235 on Apple. All right, so that's what I'm looking at. All right, Amazon. Congratulations to the Discord members who took Amazon. We made an absolute killing off that play. Um, I know somebody made 4,000 off the 170 calls on Amazon. We can actually look at it because I don't want people just going by my word. Um, we look in the testimonials tab. Someone made someone made 1K off the Tesla calls, the 215 Tesla calls. We also did 220 Tesla calls right here. This guy made 170. He did 170 calls off of one of our alerts, $4,000 off that play. Here's another Amazon call. We did a 175 call as well. Did we do a one? No, we didn't. This was one of the alerts that the AI bot alerted, I believe. But regardless, $915 off that play. So congratulations to him. Amazon was an absolute beast today. So in regards to Amazon, so I told you guys, I think I told you guys, I might not, I might have just said it in a Discord, but regardless, Amazon has broken out of this ascending triangle and is now in this very illiquid area. Okay, so I told you guys it wasn't down here, it wasn't in a liquid area yet. It had to get within these candle ranges in order to get into it. And look what happened. As soon as it got in it, Amazon started to go ballistic. Right now, if the market continues to go higher, I do think Amazon is going to see 190. Highest I'm looking at is about 200 on Amazon. Amazon. So keep an eye out on Amazon. I think the thing is absolutely going to go ballistic as long as the market chooses to do so. Now, in regards to a retest, because a lot of some Discord members ask me like, what's a great entry if we get a retest, which I definitely respect. I definitely respect the people who are patient enough to wait on a retest, because sometimes I'm not always patient on it. Okay, but a good entry on Amazon, I would say, is either sorry, is either 175, between 175 and 172. Okay, 175, 172. I think those are great entries. Right now, it's kind of showing weakness as it goes higher, so there is potential for a retest. But right now, I would say 175, 172 range is a great entry for Amazon. Well, I'll be looking out for that entry tomorrow, depending on how the market looks, and then I'll possibly alert that as well. So if you want access to my plays, Discord links in the description below. We've been killing it as far as this upside goes. So keep an eye out. I mean, it's there. Okay. So next we're looking at Tesla. Okay, Tesla. So congratulations to the Discord members that made a bag off Tesla. We did 220 calls. I believe it was yesterday. Yeah, we did like 220 calls yesterday. Um, we were in a lot of calls. We were in QCOM calls. We did 175 calls on QCOM. I made about 1,500 off that play. Um, there's a lot going on here, so try to bear with me. We did MU calls, 110 calls. We did a lot of stuff. Okay, a lot of stuff. So Tesla. Here's the 215 calls. These calls were generated by the AI bot. It gave us a 215 call. I always give the option. If I like any play that the bot alerts, I do let the Discord members know that I like the play and it's a possible trade idea, and it's up to them to actually take the trade or not. All right, because I don't want to overload anyone. The bot also alerted Google 162.5 calls. We're going to talk about that in a bit because someone asked about it in the YouTube comments. But in regards to Tesla, Tesla, I think, is heading towards 225. You guys know that's my target. I still think it's going to head towards 225. We could see that target by next week. Ironic enough, there is a fair value gap here. I didn't even know that. So, yeah, you don't have to believe me on that. But regardless, my target was always 225. So, I do think Tesla is going to continue to head higher. Now, what I will say is that if Tesla just so happens to bless you with a entry point at 210, if it drops down to 210, or whatever the case may be, I think that's a beautiful entry point. I definitely will be looking out for that, and Tesla can start heading towards that 225 target. I will look at contracts for next week, if anything, maybe a 220 call for next week. And yeah, so that's what we did. We took profit on the play. The 220 calls that we did on Tesla made an absolute killing on that play. So congratulations to everyone who got into that play. Let's talk about Google. So someone in the Discord, and ironic enough, someone on YouTube in the comments asked about it. So we're going to talk about Google. And me personally, I just don't like trading Google. I guess it's a preference thing. I don't know. I don't like Google. So, but we're gonna go over it regardless. Okay. So right now, Google is in this ascending triangle. And in my last video, I told you guys a lot of stocks are showing ascending triangles. Like they're all over the place. I thought it was a little too obvious, and I was a little skeptical about it. But a lot of stocks are breaking out of their ascending triangle. We have a flat top here, and we're continuing to making higher lows. Okay, now here it's a little sketchy, but I still think Google can pull it off. But honestly, if you really want to see Google go crazy, you want to see it break above 165. At that point, the sky is pretty much the limit. Okay, here's another example of an elevator down, guys. But anyway, okay, the sky is pretty much the limit. You can start seeing a move towards 170. I would be very careful past 170. You're looking at a move about 173, 174, but I will be very careful if we do get up here. Okay, there's a lot of turbulence up here and a lot of bearish movement up here. There is a fair value gap all the way at 177, and then there's another one at 170. I mean 180. Sorry, I'm actually looking at the 2-hour time frame. I just noticed that. Okay, but regardless, still ascending triangle there. Google looks fine. It's just bouncing off the bottom of the ascending triangle. I will wait. I would wait 30 minutes after open to see what the market does and how it digests this inflation news. I believe there's inflation news at 8:30 Eastern. Tomorrow's Friday. So 8:30 Eastern, you have pre-building permits, and then you have housing starts, and then at 10 a.m. Eastern, you have inflation expectations and consumer sentiment, and then you have Goolsby, who's normally a hawk, who's normally hawkish. speaking. So I would be careful when this guy start talking. Don't trust a guy named Gooseby, okay? But anyway, regardless, Google looks fine for now. If it starts breaking below this trend, if it breaks below 159, then I will start looking to get out the play. If you really want to push your luck and you really want to set like a longer stop, more loose stop loss, I should say. You're looking at 157. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at in regards to Google. MU. So MU, I hate trading this thing, but today it was looking absolutely amazing. Can't be mad at that. We are in 110 calls. I gave the option to close prior to the market closing. So if we look for MU, we traded MU like twice today, and we sold some contracts prior, and then we got jumped back in. So regardless, MU. So here's the first play on MU. Made 196. It was like two contracts, nothing too crazy. 105 calls on that. And then we did another play. We did a 110 calls on MU for tomorrow actually. 30 I had 30 contracts on this. I was a little, they were very cheap in my opinion. So, but nice little 600 so far. We'll see if that holds until tomorrow, but I doubt it, but we'll see. Regardless, I don't expect the market to do anything crazy into open, and then after open, we'll see. But regardless, MU looks fine. I have a price target of MU to like 115, 112 range. Highest it could potentially go is, I guess, this fair value gap at around 118, but I'm not really looking for that. It got me above the daily SMA, the 200 daily SMA, so that's really good. Worst case scenario for MU, if we just so happen to get a dip tomorrow, it could simply just retest 102. I would say that's a great entry, 102, 103, and then could potentially start to head higher from there. Okay, so something to pay attention to for MU, and yeah, QCOM. You guys know QCOM. I talk about QCOM. I've been talking about QCOM for a bit. Probably one of my favorite plays right now. I really enjoy QCOM. So there's an ascending triangle here. I was hoping it popped up, but I guess I erased it. But regardless, there's an ascending triangle here. And like I said, a lot of stocks are showing ascending triangles across the board, and they're just breaking out. Like they're just all charging up and breaking out of their ascending triangles. Okay, so QCOM broke out right here. Looks absolutely amazing. It broke out. This actually is off. So there we go. Okay, that's the ascending triangle. So we broke out. We retested the ascending triangle. That would have been an absolute beautiful entry. And we got into 175 calls, and QCOM has been running up a bag ever since. I think it's going to continue to head higher. Price target heading into probably next week is about 180. I do think this thing can possibly, there's actually a fair value gap all the way at 203. So it can revisit 203, 205. All right. So that's what I have for QCOM. TLT, I know somebody's going to ask about it. TLT still looks fine, guys. What I will say is that I think it's going to continue to go up from here. As you guys can see, we broke out. We retested 196.6. I talked about this before in the Discord that if we get past 196.6, then TLT is going to go higher. So right now, we simply retested it, and I think we're going to continue to go higher from here. One of my price targets is 105, 110. You just got to be patient with it. It's not going to happen overnight. Not QCOM. TLT is not a rocket ship. It doesn't move like that. All right. NVIDIA. All right, so I told you guys in the last video that NVIDIA is most likely going to head towards 122, 123. One of these patterns had me a little worried, but it turned out it was just a doji. It flipped to a doji somehow, but it was originally a hangman pattern. So regardless, oh wait, that was the daily time frame. Let me see the daily time frame, see how that turned out. So yeah, this probably was just a hammer, so it probably wasn't even a hangman pattern. But like I tell you guys all the time, if it looks like the pattern, assume that it is until proven otherwise. And Nvidia proved otherwise. All right. So right now, Nvidia is at a tough area right now, so there is potential for a retest from here, which around 120, 119, and then we could potentially head higher, probably head as high as about 130, 132. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for in Nvidia. Now, the worst case scenario is a retest of 110. Okay, 110. But we'll, if that happens, then you might want to get out that play. But if it breaks below 115, then definitely get out the play. But right now, Nvidia looks fine. It just looks like it could potentially reject from here and possibly retest about 120, 118 being the lowest. All right. And that's pretty much all I have. I hope I explained myself well in regards to me not being comfortable or me thinking something is wrong with how fast we're moving within such a short span of time before two major catalysts. I hope that makes sense. Actually, let's talk about Bitcoin real quick. I'm sorry about that. 55K. Simple as that. It broke below 58K, so chances are it's going to 55K. But anyway, yeah, and Bitcoin still looks bearish to me. I just don't see it yet. Now, oh, this is what I wanted to go over with you guys. Okay, so Bitcoin. So where did everything go? Where did everything go? Oh, I'm losing my mind, guys. I'm my AC is out. They're coming to fix it tomorrow. My central air is out in the house, and I don't know. I'm probably just losing my mind from hallucinations or whatever the case may be. But regardless, you guys know I had everything marked out. So the question is, could this be a possible triple bottom? Okay, if we look up here, so we're just gonna knock this out in real time. So we look up here. You guys know I'm not bullish or super bullish on Bitcoin until we at least get above 65K, and then after that 70,500. But down here, if we're looking down here, right, is this possibly a triple bottom? Me personally, I don't think so. I have rules for how I like my bottoms to form. Pause. But usually when it comes to bottoms, you don't want the like for example, you don't want these candles to be lower than these or the wicks of these candles. Okay, that usually mitigates the bottom. But right here, these guys are pretty even. They stopped right at the wicks of these candles here. Hopefully this is making sense. So could we form a triple bottom from this point on? It's possible. Okay, it's very much possible. The neckline will be 70,500. So definitely look out for Bitcoin. But right now, still bearish on the thing. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. It's below the 200 daily SMA. It broke below 58K. Chances are it's heading to 55K. And we'll see what happens from there. But other than that, that's really all I have, guys. Hopefully everything I said makes sense. I know it sounded like a lot of rambling, but if you did stick around, thank you. Thank you so much for the support. I do tend to ramble a lot in my videos, but I try to make sense of things, okay? Discord link is in the description below. Like I said, we made a crazy bag, so don't miss out on the next opportunity. And if you don't want to join the Discord, and maybe you don't want to, look at signals through an app, you can get them directly sent to your phone. That link is in the description below as well. As far as our website goes, pretty straightforward. You do have to pay like $10 more. That's simply because I have to pay a third party to do so. But other than that, if you subscribe to our website, you get a free newsletter. You get a newsletter on my expectations every week, and then you get a free ebook as well. So those things are free. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So until the next video, traders, have a good one.